Boys and girls, we are doing an art project on American symbols in 5th grade because in 5th grade we study American history. And it's important to understand that we have this rich tradition of using symbols in our country to represent our ideas or our ideals. So, a symbol is a thing that stands for something else, like an idea. So an abstract thought. We use emojis these days to represent our feelings. So a happy face, we're happy, right? Confused. We use those as symbols of our feelings. This is using symbols to represent some of the history of the United States. Okay? So, I thought this was a great book for thinking about our American symbols, and a great follow-up activity to keep things fresh in your head is perhaps to do an art project, find some symbols that represent America to you, and make a collage of those symbols, and then write something about what they represented for you, why you chose them. America's famous symbols. The United States has many symbols. They are a part of the country's history. A symbol is something that stands for something else. For example, a heart is a symbol of love. You may have heard the Star-Spangled Banner at sports events. This song is a symbol of American patriotism, and patriotism showing love and loyalty to one's country. So here they have that for you, the American flag, and people showing loyalty. The American flag. The American flag is a symbol of the United States. The flag's nickname is Old Glory. Its colors are red, white, and blue. White stands for purity. Red means strength. Blue stands for justice. The flag has 50 stars. There is 1 star for each state in the nation. The flag's 13 stripes stand for the 13 original colonies. Fact: astronaut Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin put an American flag on the moon in 1969. Colonies: the 13 British territories that became the United States of America. And so here, we have our definitions and whatnot, but here they have kind of a little timeline of the different flags and how they evolved, how they changed over time. It's pretty cool, especially since we're studying timelines also. Okay. The bald eagle. The bald eagle has been a symbol of the United States since 1782. It represents strength and bravery. Bald eagles make their homes in North America. They almost went extinct by 1963. There are now laws that protect them. Fact: Benjamin Franklin thought the turkey was a more respectable choice for the national bird. He said bald eagles only stole food from other animals. Extinct, no longer living. An extinct animal is one that has died out with no more of its kind. So yeah, I always think it's fascinating that Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey instead of the bald eagle. Both are pretty cool birds, honestly. We have a whole bunch of them at our school that walk around in a line. Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is a symbol of the United States government. The image of Uncle Sam first appeared in drawings and books around 1812. In the early 1900s, the government needed men to join the army during World War I, 1914 to 1918. Uncle Sam's image encouraged people to support their country. Model flag used his own face as a model. Artist James Montgomery flag. Oh, that's interesting. More than 4 million copies were printed between 1917 and 1918 while the U.S. was involved in World War I. I want you for the U.S. Army, nearest recruiting station. The real Uncle Sam. Was there a real Uncle Sam? Legend has it his name was Sam Wilson. He was a New York meat packer in the early 1800s. Wilson sent barrels of meat to U.S. soldiers fighting in the War of 1812. He stamped the letters U.S. on the barrels. From this, soldiers nicknamed him Uncle Sam. His nickname eventually became connected to the U.S. government. That's an interesting story, a little anecdote, short story within this nonfiction piece. And that is the poster of Uncle Sam. The Great Seal. The Great Seal is a symbol of independence. This emblem is used on important government papers. It can also be found on the $1 bill. Fact: the Great Seal of the United States was created by Charles Thomson. Congress approved his design in 1782. Independence, freedom from the control of others or things, emblem, a symbol, or a sign. What the Great Seal means. Let's see. E pluribus unum. This phrase is Latin for out of many, one. It represents how Americans are united. Bald eagle. The bald eagle is the national bird of the United States. It stands for courage and strength. The olive branch. The olive branch is a symbol of peace. Clouds of stars. The cloud of stars represents a new nation taking its place among other nations. The number 13. The number 13 is seen often on the Great Seal. It stands for the 13 original states. There are 13 arrows, 13 stripes in the shield, and 13 stars. Arrows. Arrows show a readiness for battle. Shield. The shield stands for the nation standing strong in the world. So we have a pretty cool emblem if you think about it. There it is. That eagle, all those things around it. The Liberty Bell. The Liberty Bell is a symbol of freedom. It was made in 1752 for the Pennsylvania State House. Today, that building is called Independence Hall. The words on the bell tell Americans to spread freedom to all people through the land. Fact: the Liberty Bell is on the 100 bill that was designed in 2009. The Liberty Bell has a crack in its side. It was last rung on George Washington's birthday in 1846. Ellis Island. 12 million immigrants entered the United States between 1892 and 1954. Many left hard times for a fresh start. New York City's Ellis Island was the first stop for many immigrants. Workers there asked immigrants questions about themselves. They ruled out any criminals. Doctors made sure immigrants were healthy. Those who passed inspection were allowed into America. Immigrant, a person who leaves one country and settles in another. Inspection, the process of looking over or reviewing something. Moving through Ellis Island. The registry room, immigrants waited to be inspected. Medical exam, sick people were held back. Legal inspection, immigrants were asked 29 questions. The kissing post, immigrants who passed inspection reunited with loved ones. The Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty stands in New York Harbor. It was a gift to America from France in 1886. Lady Liberty is a sign of friendship between the countries. It also represents freedom and hope. Fact: the Statue of Liberty started out the color of a copper penny. It has turned green from being outside so long. Harbor, a place where ships load and unload passengers and cargo. The statue was the first American symbol many immigrants saw upon entering the United States. Immigrants still come to America hoping for better lives. The White House. The White House is a symbol of democracy. It represents the United States history. U.S. presidents have lived and worked in the White House since 1800. Fact: have something on your mind? You can write a letter to the president at his famous address, the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., 2500. Democracy, a form of government in which the citizens vote for their leaders. Have you heard of the Oval Office? It's where the president does a lot of important business. The Oval Office is in the White House. So here we go. And then there's a really cool glossary back here and more information, as any good nonfiction writing would have. And that was a short series on the American symbols.